Just waiting for this to process. Always takes a while with YouTube Live. Never really know. Okay. Might be live now. All right. I believe I'm live. Here goes nothing. Welcome to Just Curious Media. This is Let's Talk Movies, and I'm Jason Connell. Now, on the show today, I'm talking about something very exciting because it's like an interview I did a decade ago. It's been archived on ice, and I wanted to dust it off and give it a new life. So back in 2011, I honored two industry heavyweights with Lifetime Achievement Awards, I should say, at the Los Angeles United Film Festival. Now, I started the United Film Festivals in 2002 and ran them in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, New York, London, and my hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is where I started it in the first place. So I was lucky enough to honor legendary actor Dabney Coleman. You may know him, or you should know him from movies like 9 to 5, Tootsie, WarGames, so many more. Well, Dabney turned 90 years old just a few days ago, January 3rd, 2022. So well on you, Dabney. But again, this happened a decade ago. And we also honored director Mark Rydell, who's currently 92, coming up on 93 in March. And he was nominated for an Oscar for directing On Golden Pond and directed many more things, also acted in things. So I had them both there that night at the Vista Theater, let me just say. Now, you may have read about it recently because it was purchased by Quentin Tarantino. Yes, the famous director, one of my favorite of all times, but he always loved the theater. And I actually knew the team that owned the theater, and I ran the festival there for many years there, and their other theater down the street, which is the Los Feliz 3 Theater, which they still own. But Quentin, during the pandemic, made him a good offer. He owns it now. Very cool. But this is back in the day. And so they do handprints in front of the theater. And I was lucky enough to do many. I would recruit, like Carl Gottlieb, who wrote Jaws, and we would have him out and play Jaws on the 35 millimeter big screen before they went digital. I had Vilmo Zsigmond out, who was the DP of movies like Deliverance, The Deer Hunter, Close Encounters, played Close Encounters, rest in peace, Mr. Zsigmond. He was amazing to meet, such a great cinematographer. I also honored, of course, Dabney Coleman and Mark Rydell, and it was a legendary night. And then John Landis after that, but I'll save that for another time, I guess. So had them out, put their hands in cement, gave them Lifetime Achievement Awards. Super fun night, really. Over the moon for a fanboy like myself. Well, this led to sitting down with Dabney at his home and interviewing him, having a conversation in 2012. And it was for the United Films podcast, the shortly lived United Films podcast. But we recorded it on a video camera and a shotgun mic because we were going to film it. And he's like, no, just audio only. So we're just kind of sitting side by side. And I think I was just like ping-ponging the mic in my hand back to him. The interview has not been altered. I did edit this, released it again, not for very long. It has movie clip transitions, which is kind of fun. I wouldn't do that now, but again, this is thinking back then. I thought, okay, we set up a new movie, we segue in with a movie clip. So all that is intact. And I also, when I got to know Dabney, I love the fact that he was a Washington Redskins fan, as has been myself since I was a wee lad. I was a Skins fan. Name changed a couple of years ago to Washington football team, and the name's about to change again. They're going to announce the new name in February of 2022. So who knows? It's crazy, but we have that in common, and we got along famously. When I went back and listen to this interview, it's hilarious though, because I just sound so much younger and experienced, but I have passion. I'm excited to be there, and it's really fun. And I do reference the United Films podcast. So I left that in. You're going to hear it. It's no longer a thing because we did 2 episodes. We did Dabney Coleman and then John Kapelos, which we'll save that. We're going to pull that out of the archives and have it come and be a part of Let's Talk Movies as well. We'll kind of do something like this, a setup, play the interview. But the the reason it ended is because I ended the film festivals in 2014, after 12 years, glorious years, traveling to all those cities, running them, traveling to Los Angeles and San Francisco and Chicago, literally me going there, running the festival. It was great. And then later I had some of my crew members, team members go, but it was great. But 12 years was a long haul in the film festival biz. Now, it's kind of funny that I did the podcast too, and I'm out. I was destined to become a podcaster. I just didn't know it. I was way ahead of my time, I guess. But here we are, giving it a second life. But it wasn't a total wash at the time because I got to know Dabney better. And what happened was that interview and then meeting him at the festival and honoring him led to producing a documentary about Dabney Coleman entitled Not Such a Bad Guy, Conversations with Dabney Coleman. And it's on Amazon Prime Video. You can check it out. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of Dabney Coleman's, as I am. You may have heard my dog barking there. He likes to bark at other dogs and people as they walk by. I'm on vacation now. I'm currently, it's snowing here in Pennsylvania on my way to Florida, but I wanted to do this episode while I had the chance. And so that's really it. This is the setup for anybody on YouTube Live. You're going to have to, unfortunately, download or stream the podcast episode to hear the interview because I couldn't insert it here. So this is more of a setup for the YouTube Live, but I hope you do. It's worth the time. And thanks for coming back and supporting Let's Talk Movies. So thank you so much for listening. And please be sure to subscribe to Let's Talk Movies podcast, as well as the Let's Talk Movies YouTube Live channel. You can also really help us by giving the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast. And for all you listeners that enjoy sharing your thoughts, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcast, send us a direct message, or post a comment on any Let's Talk Movies social media platform. We also highly recommend checking out our other podcast and visiting justcuriousmedia.com.